welcome back to your another class of Introduction to Python. In this lecture, we'll be talking about different types of data types that Python have. So the data types that are built in Python are like the followings that we will be covering throughout this lecture. But if we just talk about the ones that we have explored up till now, so we have like variables. We declared those variables in the previous classes, and they can store like data of different types. And I guess the types that we have explored till now were like the strings. So X was the one storing cat to it, so we check what would be the type of X. So it was like the string type. So we'll be exploring more different types of Python, and let's start now. So Python has the following data types built in by default. In these categories, it would be like one of the type is the text data type, which is the string that we just talked about, and then the other one is the numeric data type, which include integer, float, and a complex number. So integers were the ones that were like simple numbers. Either those numbers can be the positive or the negative ones, and up to so on. And yeah, it does include the zero part also. And if you just talk about the floating point, then the floating points were the ones which include the decimal places. So 0 0.1, 1.25, and something like that. And the complex number ones, which were the mixture of the real plus the imaginary part. So if you guys are learning Python, then I'm sure you would be familiar with the basic mathematical concepts. So what is a complex number? That is a mixture of real and imaginary number. Okay, we'll we'll try to explore what are these numbers really look like. Okay, so it would be like if I just declare a number and stored it inside a variable, and I'm just storing it as like, let's just say 3j. Okay, so what would that be considered? It would be by default will be considered a complex number in which the real part was kind of like 0 and the imaginary part was 3 with the j. Okay, so the numbers that include the characters with them are like considered the imaginary part, and the whole one is called the complex number. We'll talk about this in detail. Then the other one is the list and tuples and the range one, and then there are like other ones which are like mapping types. We'll explore all of these things. Okay, so let's just name for now. So dictionaries would be the ones that would be like what why we use dictionary. So we have a particular name, a particular word, and we want to know the meaning of that word. Okay, so in the dictionary the mapping would be sort of like you would be naming every entry of the data. Okay, and if we just talk about like set types, so what would be the sets? So frozen sets and normal sets, and then boolean. I guess we have explored the boolean, which were like storing the true and false, but we'll explore about it. And the binary data types like bytes, bit arrays, memory view. Okay, and to be honest, these types are like not really that much commonly used in Python, but yeah, you need to know about these things. And to be honest, you don't really need to cram, or I mean like you don't really need to remember everything. It's just that whenever you got a problem, and you should, at least in your memory, you should have an idea like this belong to a particular data type that is supported by Python. So I just need to know a little bit about that particular data type, and I can just simply explore that thing. Okay, so you can get the data type of any object by using a type function. We have explored that thing also. And let's just start with an example. So print the data type of variable x. So x was stored with the number 5. We can simply know the data type of that function using that print. And then inside that print we'll be using a type function, and type function would be having a parameter. So parameter is a one that is written inside a function. Okay, so this is basically a built-in function in Python. Okay, so type is a built-in function. Okay, and setting the data type. So how we can set the data type of anything? So you can assign a particular value to a variable and it would automatically be adjusting its data type. So x storing this value with the quotation signs, it would be basically a string, and simple numbers would be considered as integer, and then the ones with the decimals would be considered as a float. And then x equals to 1j would be considered as a complex number, and we'll try to practice that thing also. So the other data type was if you write in the square brackets separated by commas and all numbers are written in these quotation signs, either that one or another way would be like using the square brackets, okay, and then storing a number separated by commas, okay, 4.5 and each and everything. Okay, we'll be talking about the what are the list, I mean like what data types do they really support, and then the other one is this tuple, and that can be initialized with like brackets and then 2 3 4 5. Okay, and you can just simply use square bracket, and then the type of that thing would be like tuple. Okay, and then the other one is like x equals to range. So x equal to range 6 would be a data type. We'll be exploring about this range data type too. Okay, and then the other one is like if you are using these curly brackets, and inside those curly brackets you are using a word, then comma, ratio sign. Each and every one of them is like acting as a key. I mean like this is the key and this is the value, this is the key and this is the value. We'll be talking about these dictionaries too. Okay, but let's just create a simple dictionary for now. Let's just say I want to have a key of 5 storing 5. Okay, and then another key. So in order to declare, in order to have another value, we'll be using this comma sign. Okay, and these quotation signs are for 5. I'll be using compiler, but for now let's just make things a bit easy. Okay, let me just rewrite that thing because I think the writing is like super bad. Okay, so 5 ratio sign, and then this 5 and then comma, and then let's just say I'm using like 4 is like having a value which is string 4. Okay, so this is how you will be declaring a dictionary, and you can use anything as a key. We'll be having a complete lecture on this thing. Okay, so you don't really have to be like super confused about these things for now. So let's just start. Okay, I guess our pages are like super moving here. Okay, let me just zoom out a bit and then we can just zoom in for now. And yep, we have our data types. Okay, so okay, so the other one is like if you are just simply using this curly brackets, and then inside those curly brackets just writing simple values separated by commas, then that would be a set. We'll be talking about set future, but let's just walk through all these and we'll be working with. So the frozen set, so this is a set, but what would be a frozen set? So what would be the difference between both of them? We'll be talking about them too. And then the other one was like x equals to bool or true, that was even x can be equal to that false thing too. Okay, and we'll be declaring some basic functions for now too. And let me just remove okay, and then x equals to b with the hello. So that would be, so the b is basically representing that I'm declaring a byte. Okay, and hello, so what would be the byte of hello? Okay, and then byte array of 5. So this is like byte array data type, and then memory view of byte 5 equals is the memory view. Okay, let's just try to practice these things. Okay, writing my tribe, writing here data types. So we know about x equal to 5 and printing what is the type of variable x really is. So we know about like it's an integer type. Okay, and then x equals, let's just say y equals to 5.3, and I'm just printing what would be the type of that y, and that would be like a float type, and then let's just say x equals to um, five, and then let me just store that thing into a new variable. Okay, so printing the type of that thing and z. Okay, so we are familiar with all of these things, but let's just create something new. Okay, so if I'm just declaring like app my variable equals to, then I'm writing it here false. Now if I want the program to tell me what should be the type, so sorry, my var, and now that would be a boolean. Okay, let's just say complex number equal to 35j, and print the type of that particular complex and then number, and let's just see what would be the type, the complex type. How you declare really these, so I'm just so my list equal to square brackets and then writing some random numbers. Okay, and now let's just see printing my list, and I'm just writing uh, type of that my list. Okay, string variable equals to range 5, and let's just say print. First of all, let's just see how it prints a variable. Okay, and we have like range from 0 to 5, and now let's just print the type of this range variable. You have to be sure about the brackets. Okay, I was missing the ending bracket, so that's why I got this error message. So idk equals to using those curly brackets. Okay, and then declaring something like this. Okay, and print type of idk and separated by comma, and print also idk. Okay, by the way, we'll be exploring this print function in details too. Okay, so 12 have like 22 store, 44 has like 67 store, and my name is like storing Kazi. Okay, let's just say if I just want like idk2 dot keys, so these are all the keys, and let's just say if I am asking like idk2 dot either, so I'm using this dot function to have like what are the functions that this particular variable has built in. Let's just say if I'm just asking, so I have a drop down list of the functions that it can support too. Okay, so we have values like 22, 67, and Kazi. Okay, my byte equals to b and then bracket, and then let's just say like hello world, and then I just want to have like what is really this byte string, and then separated by comma, calling the function, and then my byte. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, so I missed something. So so b, so b, let's just say what was the basic syntax of it. So b, oh, I added these things. Okay, I forgot to add because we don't really use these things so common. Okay, but at least we should know about these. Like it's been okay, so b hello world equals belongs to the byte class. Okay, and it's basically have this particular thing stored inside it. Okay, and let's just say if we have any functions in this thing, so we have to simply write like dot, and we have like, let's just say capitalize thing. Let's see what we have. So we have like the first where the first number is like capitalized here, and let's see if we have like dot, and let's just say is all number. Let's just say if all of these are numbers or not. So I'm sure, yeah, so the answer would be in the boolean format. Okay, and there are other things you can do, practice them too, but let's just move towards the exercise part. Okay, and what we can do with the exercise. Okay, by the way, you can just simply copy and paste this code, okay, to your Google Colab cell. Okay, we have to make sure you have to connect that cell, and then you have to create a new cell, and you can just simply type that code and just start to know. So what are the questions here? So what would be the following code would print the data type of X? What data type would that be? So you can just simply type that code, okay, and you will get the answers of it. The following code example would print the data type of X. So what type? So you have to tell me what type of that is and what type of that is. I guess we have been covering these things, but you simply have to write these things, okay. You have to practice a bit, okay, how to declare it, and we'll be exploring about these things. So all of them are like related to the data types, okay. What would be the data type of this thing? I mean, like, I know, I mean, like, we have practiced this thing that is separating with the ratio sign and other values like separated by a comma and the so the following code example would print the data type of X. What type of would that be? So what would be the type of this thing? And I guess so you have to practice this thing, okay. And thank you so much. Bye.